Good morning, Stampers. Happy Friday. Welcome to this week's Facebook Live. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Alberta, Canada, and I go live every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time with a crafty project. And today I'm sharing 3 projects with you using the Fragrant Flowers bundle and Favored Flowers DSP, and all of these projects were inspired by cards that we created at our team meeting this month. So I am just going to update my iPad, and then I've got a few things to share with you before we get started. Here we go. All right, first of all, I wanted to share a little peek at some products that are coming up in March. I just got my pre-order yesterday, and this is only a selection of them. So let me share here. In March, we've got some online exclusives coming out. And as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, we can pre-order some of those items. And this is just a sampling of what's going to be available. There's going to be a more extensive line that comes out March 1st, and we haven't even seen it yet. So I have no idea what's going to be available. But I did order a few of these things, and I wanted to share them with you because this DSP seriously is so beautiful. So this is called Hello Irresistible. It's a 6x6 DSP. And look at this. Like, is that not absolutely stunning? Good morning, Debbie. So I'm going to do a quick flip through. Like, look at that. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. There is a bundle that goes with this DSP, and the dies cut this out. Okay, why am I not seeing anything here? I don't know if my screen is just not updating. Okay, can you guys tell me, can you guys see a picture? I just see a blank grid pattern. Okay, yep, so my screen is just not updating. Okay, all right, we'll keep going then. And then the dies will also cut out the leaves. And the backs are just kind of like this, almost like a watercolor. Look at this. It's so pretty. So pretty. Look at this one. So anybody recognize this color? Pretty Peacock is coming back. Again, the dies will cut out these florals. And Lost Lagoon is coming back as well. So that's a little peek at that DSP. So you'll definitely see some projects coming up with that. And then there are some loose frosted dots that go with it. So these are just flat back frosted dots in a few different colors. I think there's Pretty Peacock, there's a yellow, let's see, does it say? It doesn't say what colors there are, but it looks like Pretty Peacock, maybe some Daffodil Delight and Flirty Flamingo. So those, and then there is a set of 3 embossing folders. So these are called the Basics 3D embossing folders. You get 3 of them, and I quickly embossed the patterns here. So let's just go through them here. Boy, I wish I could see what you guys are seeing so that I could see that I'm in camera. It's weird. Okay. So we've got this one, which has almost like these little floral images with some more detail in the background. We've got polka dots, like a little bit of a larger polka dot. And these are 3D. Like, these polka dots seriously stand up. They're so dimensional. And then this one, I love the simplicity of this one. It's almost like a crosshatch kind of pattern. Love it. All right, so you can look forward to all of those products come March 1st for customers, or if you're a demonstrator, you can pre-order them. Or if you want to take advantage of the starter kit, that the option is available to include these as part of your starter kit. Okay, set those aside. All right, last week I shared this fun little envelope card. You can always catch the replay here on my Facebook group or my Facebook page, or up on YouTube or on my blog. And I always give away the cards that I create. So I'll have 3 lucky winners next week because I'm creating 3 cards today. And the lucky winner for this one is Martha Mack. So the way that you can get entered is just by commenting that you've watched the video, participating in the conversation, sharing the video, just letting me know that you're watching, and makes me feel like I'm not sitting here talking to myself. All right, so congratulations, Martha. I'll pop that in the mail for you. Okay, and then just one last reminder before we get into today's project. We still have a little bit more than 2 weeks left of Celebration. And as far as I know, as of yesterday, everything was still available in the regular Celebration brochure, as well as in the More to Celebrate. So come as of February 1st, more products were included in the offering. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this Eden's Garden bundle, like that is a bundle. That's over $70 worth that you can choose for free with a $120 purchase. So that is a fabulous deal. All right, let's get started here. Okay, so today I'm doing something a little bit different. I am creating 3 cards, but I chose to take my inspiration from some projects that we created at our monthly team meeting. So every month, our team gathers virtually on Zoom and we create 3 projects. So up until recently, I would always plan those projects. We'd pick a bundle, a stamp set, or a suite, and we would create 3 projects with that. And the intent of those projects are so that people could turn around and use them, whether they want to use them in a class, if they want to use them just personally for themselves, if they want to use them just to promote a product, they can use them however they want, okay? Recently, I have asked for volunteers to create the make and takes, and this has been really, really fun for me. I have loved it. First of all, it takes something off of my plate, and it is really, I don't know, it's nice to do things that I necessarily wouldn't do. So we've got a fun fold here. Here, I probably wouldn't have stamped this background, like just doing things that I wouldn't necessarily do. So it's really, really fun. And I really encourage our team members that they do not, or really emphasize that they do not need to have these products in order to use these ideas. And so today is a perfect example of how they can use these projects. And I wanted to share this with you guys as well, because you see lots of ideas online and maybe you don't have all of the products. So it just shows that you can take those ideas and recreate them using products that you do have, okay? So for these 3 cards, we used the Desert Details bundle from the January to April mini catalog. And you can see one of them is kind of, or 2 of them are kind of in the colors that are part of that collection or that suite. And then one is an outside, like something completely different. And I never would have put these colors together, but I love how they look. So we've got Pacific Point, Highland Heather, and Smoky Slate. Beautiful. And this is a bit of a fun fold. So we're going to recreate this using completely different product today. And then this one here. So we're going to do a version of this one as well. This one didn't have anything on the inside. And then this one here. So we're going to do versions of all 3 of these cards. Okay. So we're going to start with this one. And we are using the Fragrant, let me just pull this out, Fragrant Flowers bundle and the Favored Flowers DSP. Just grabbing that DSP here. So this is one of the paper packs that you can choose for free with a $60 purchase. And there are some dies that will coordinate with these images. So this die will cut this out and this die will cut this guy out. Okay, I love it when Stampin' Up! Comes out with this, with things like this, with DSP that coordinates with their dies. So you can see that there's floral images on one side and then there's kind of geometric patterns on the other. So we've got that, and then we flip it over and we've got some more. So it really is beautiful paper. At first, if you guys know me, you know that I'm not usually drawn towards florals. But this is actually a stunning paper. I was drawn to this paper because of the back sides. The back sides are just so versatile, and I love pattern paper packs that are like this. But I fell in love with this paper because of the florals. All right. Okay, so let's get started here. I'm gonna pull in my paper trimmer, and all right, we are going to take, grab my card base. So I've got a standard size card base, so it's 5.5 by 8.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put it in my paper trimmer at 2 3/4, which is the halfway point along the 5.5 inch side. Okay, so 2 3/4. I'm going to line up my cutting blade with the score line. And then I'm going to snip across. And then I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to line it up with the score line, and I'm going to cut down. Okay, and then we're going to keep this piece. Okay, we're gonna fold this in. Let me grab my paper trimmer. This is driving me crazy that I cannot see what you guys are seeing. I just see a blank screen. Oh, I tell you, lately, just something's going wrong every single time. Okay, now what I've done, let me pull this card back in here. So I've got a piece of fresh freesia that I'm going to use. I've got the piece that I cut off of here. I've got a piece of the DSP, so instead of this embossed layer, I'm going to use a piece of the DSP, and then I've got 2 pieces of white, and for the measurements, you'll be able to find those in today's blog post, so you'll notice that in a little bit. It will go live shortly after I publish this video. All right, so I've got 2 pieces of white and then a scrap piece of white, and then of course some baker's twine. All right, so we're gonna start by doing some stamping. Let me grab a scrap piece of paper. Okay, and we're gonna use this beautiful large floral image and some fresh freesia ink. So I'm going to repeat this same process. You can see that this whole piece has been stamped using the floral. So I'm going to repeat that process. I'm going to ink this up. I do find it easier with these larger stamps to ink this way. And we'll just stamp this a few times on here just to fill up the background. And we'll fill in some of these extra spots here. Okay, and then we're going to take one of these pieces. We'll add a couple florals to this piece. And I'm just going to do kind of in the upper left corner and the lower right corner. And then we're going to bring in this smaller floral image, and we're going to do this inside piece. Okay. Now for our greeting, we're going to use the big hello that's in here. And let's slide this out of the way for now. We're going to need that again in a moment. And we're going to use some Memento ink. And I'm going to stamp the word hello right across, kind of the center. And then while I've got this out, I'm going to take this scrap piece and I'm going to stamp the word friend. Okay. And then we're going to bring in our mini machine. So this is the boho blue mini machine that you can choose as part of your starter kit during celebration. And I'm going to bring in this longer little rectangle piece. Position that on here. And feed that through. Okay, let's set this aside. All right, now I think we've got all of our pieces and we're ready to assemble. So I am going to take this piece of DSP. This is going to go across this front panel like that. And that looks like it's upside down. Let's flip it around. There we go. That looks better. Okay, so we're going to pop that on there. And then we're going to take our stamped piece. I am so going to miss fresh freesia when it retires. So remember that we're coming up to the end of an annual catalog. I believe it goes until the end of April. All right. And then we're going to take this piece and this piece. We're going to add this onto here. And then we're going to add this onto here, but we want to make sure that this opens, right? So we're not going to put adhesive all the way. We're only going to cover adhesive like put adhesive along the bottom portion. I am almost out of multi-purpose glue here. And then we'll center it side to side and up and down. Okay. All right, for our inside piece, what we're going to do is we're going to cover the back with adhesive. I think I'm going to have to grab another bottle here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to center it on top of here. So I've got it face down. I'm just going to center it and then close it up. All right. Now we need a mini glue dot. Yes, that cutting plate has been working hard. I use my cutting plates so much and I use them until they can't be used anymore. I definitely get my money's worth out of my cutting plates. All right, so now I've got a baker's twine bow. And we're just gonna pop mini glue dot on here and our bow on there. And then we'll take our greeting and some mini dimensionals on either side. And we're gonna pop that on here like this. So let me bring this back. We're not quite finished. I've got one more thing I want to do. I want to add a little bit of bling. So I am going to use some opaque adhesive backed gems. And we are going to do, let's see. We'll do the fresh freesia ones. And there we go. So you can see how I took this card idea that we created at our team meeting and replicated it using a completely different product, and we've got a very different card. Okay, so that was card number 1. All right, next up, we are going to work on this one here. Okay, so this one uses the desert details, but we're going to use the same products that we've just been using. So I've got a card base of fresh freesia, just a standard size card base. And then, so here we've got, I think this is pale papaya. And then she did Calypso Coral. We're gonna use Blackberry Bliss. And then here, this is actually a piece of white, and we used our blending brushes and 3 different ink colors to create kind of an ombre look. So we're gonna create that ombre look. We're gonna only use 1 ink color though. So I've got a piece of white for the outside and then another piece of white for the inside. Good morning, Auntie Judy. And then because I wanted to use different product, instead of using the dies, I chose to use the scallop contour dies. So I still wanted this rectangular look in the middle. So you could use the stitched rectangles, you could just cut a rectangle. I chose to use the scalloped contour dies. This is the 3rd smallest one that I've cut here. So that's gonna give me this piece. And then from the DSP, I chose this beautiful big floral image. We're gonna put that down here. This is gonna replace this big cluster. And then I've got another piece of white. We're gonna do some stamping on here. So we're gonna start by doing our ombre look with this piece of white. So I'm gonna slide this out of the way for now. We're gonna use fresh freesia ink. And I'm gonna rotate this around here. I'm gonna start at one end and just lightly add some color. And I'm always gonna start at this end. So this is obviously gonna be the darker end. And then I'm just gonna move my way up every time. I go to add ink. I'm gonna save going all the way to the top until I'm almost done. So by always starting at the same end, you'll end up with that end being slightly darker, and just keep gradually going up a little higher, and you'll get that beautiful ombre look. I love our blending brushes so much. Okay, now we'll go all the way to the top. And I usually try not to grab on. Use a piece of paper to hold it. So I want it to be really light at the top. Okay, we're gonna add one more layer. This time I'll fold this one in. Now this is in the way. Okay. All right, I think I'm good with that. So can you see how that's got an ombre? So we start really light and we gradually get darker as we go down. All right, so let's start assembling our card. We're gonna add, we gotta add this layer first. Let's do this one. Make sure I got it cut right here. Yeah, this is just a very small border. You know what? This is done. Let's use this. a very small border of blackberry. And when you put that cardstock, that ombre cardstock on top of the blackberry, you can really see that color, that ombre look. And then a very fine border of the fresh freesia around the edges. Okay, and then we're gonna take this piece, we're gonna add this on flat. We're gonna pop it in the middle. Actually, we're gonna do a little bit higher, middle side to side, but a little bit higher, closer to the top. And then this piece is gonna go on using some dimensionals. So this Fragrant Flowers bundle is what Laura and I are using for this month's class to go. There's still time to register. I have posted in the description where you can find all the details if you want to participate in the class. The cards are stunning, and I'll share a little peek at them with you in a little bit. Okay, so on these pieces of DSP, let me grab a piece here. So there are all these flowers that are kind of around the edges. Don't discard those. Those are perfect for the inside of your card, or even if you wanted to kind of tuck for a little bit more to make it look a little bit more full. So those pieces are perfectly good as well. So let's see, I think this looks best this way. So we're gonna add that to the inside. All right, and now we need to do our greeting. So for this one, we're going to use the word hello again, and in some memento, or with some memento. And I love to have these kinds of cards on hand because they're perfect if you need kind of a last minute thank you card, last minute birthday card. If you just want to send a thinking of you card, it's nice to have some kind of generic cards where you can stamp the inside greeting based on what you need. So I love generic kind of sayings on the outside, like hello and just little things like that. All right, and then we're gonna fussy cut around this. Now, if you're not a fussy cutter, you can just cut it in a rectangle, but I went ahead and cut around it. We're gonna pop this up using some dimensionals. And we're gonna put this across like this. So let me bring back this card. And we just need to add our dots. So I'm gonna use the same dots as before, so the opaque adhesive backed gems. And this time let's use white. There we go. And see how that ombre look in the background is just, it's so subtle, so pretty, and it's such a simple card. All right. So there is card number 2. All right, card number 3. So this is our inspiration, is this one here. And we need to do some cleaning. So let me grab my cleaner. Okay, slide this out of the way for a minute here. We're gonna switch up our color combination for this one. Okay. So for this one, we are using an Evening Evergreen base. We're using a piece of this DSP, and Let me dump out all these pieces here. Okay. All right, so we've got Evening Evergreen. This piece is going to go on here. So this piece, the DSP replaces this layer of cardstock. And then this framed bit, again, I use the scallop contour dies, which are one of my favorites. So it's second largest one. That's going to be on there, but we're going to add a layer on here. And then I've got some pieces for the inside, so we'll go into that in a minute. Let's start with our stamping. So we need to stamp this piece and this piece. So this, I went ahead and I cut this label shape from the Fragrant Flowers dies. And we're also going to stamp our inside piece. So let's grab our scrap piece of paper. We'll slide that out of the way for a minute. And we're going to use this smaller floral image and some Calypso Coral ink. So we'll do that. And then we'll stamp the inside as well. And that's it for this one. Now for this one, we're going to do a thank you card. So I'm going to use the word thanks. We're going to slide this out of the way. We're going to use Memento ink. So I'm going to pull in some black. We've got our label shape there. Okay, we've got our greeting. And then I've taken another piece of Evening Evergreen and I've die cut 2 of these pieces here. Okay, so let's bring back our card base and we'll start assembling. I love this paper. It's, oh my gosh, it's just so pretty. And it's so unlike me to like a paper like this. But if you've been following along on my blog, or if you haven't, go check it out. All week long, I've been sharing projects created with this, and it's absolutely stunning. It really is easy to create beautiful projects with this DSP. All right, and then this piece is going to go on flat. Right in the center. And then this piece is going to get popped up. So this piece is cut so that it's just a smidge smaller than that pierced border. All right, and then that's going to get popped up right in the middle here so we can still see that piercing around the edges, just like that. And then we need, of course, some baker's twine. Did you notice I didn't have any twine on the second card? And scissors. Okay, and then we'll use a mini glue dot. And this will go right about here at an angle. And this guy's gonna get popped up using dimensionals. I'm just gonna pop one on either end and maybe an extra one on this side. It's gonna sit over top of that knot, so I don't wanna put one there. Okay, and then these are going to get tucked in. We'll just pop out these pieces. And let's see if this one has any glue left in it. a little bit. And we'll kind of pop that underneath there. And this one underneath here. Okay, and then for our inside piece, I've got another piece of this DSP, and I've got two pieces of the same pattern, but I'm gonna switch it over or add one face up, one face down, just so that you have a little bit of that coral on the inside. And then pop this on here like that. And it's a little bit long, so we'll just trim this off. And then we'll pop this on the inside, and our last one is done. We'll do it this way. All right, so here is the card that inspired me for this one. So this one I added a bit more dimension to it, just with the extra popped up layer and the twine on there, but it's the same basic layout. So let me bring back all of the cards again so I can share. So this was card number 3. So card number 3. This was card number 2, and then card number 1. So you can see that they were all inspired by the projects that we created at our team meeting this month, but they look completely different. So I encourage you to pull out a card maybe that you received or that you've created in the past, and just try to recreate it using something completely different. It really is fun. It's a fun little challenge. And like I said, at our team meetings, we do this every month where we create 3 projects, and then everybody shares kind of, if they've used something different, they'll share photos of them to show what they've done with them. And I plan on posting these over on our team group, Facebook group as well, to share what I've done with them. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Oh, one last thing before we head out, or before I sign off, I said that I would share a peek at the Fragrant Flowers Class to Go cards. So there is still time to register for this class. Deadline is the 15th of February, and you'll get a bunch of supplies as well as the card kits to create these 6 cards. And they are absolutely stunning. So pretty. All right, so if you haven't already, head on over to that link and send me a message. Let me know that you'd like to register for the class, and you'll have your kits by the end of February. All right, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. Take care. Bye, guys.